Hello and welcome to Citizen Earned, where I unpack what it means to be the best American citizen from an immigrant's perspective. Previously, I've covered kind of my guide on what I'm using to answer this question. And it all deals with the big three: the Declaration of Independence, which originally is the Promise of Freedom, then the Constitution, which is the manual or the run book on how to run the government to deliver on that promise of freedom, and then the Bill of Rights, or what I call the citizen's task, which is the citizen's responsibilities to deliver on that promise of freedom. Previously, I've covered the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and now the eighth. We're getting close now. All to make good on the oath of allegiance I took to become a citizen, and specifically to deliver on the passage that goes to protect against all enemies, both foreign and domestic. Now, what is the Eighth Amendment? Well, let me read it to you. Excessive bail shall not be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishment inflicted. Well, that seems pretty straightforward to me. It's pretty short, it's pretty easy. But I've got a question. What is excessive bail? And what is excessive fines? And what is cruel and unusual punishment? Because in my time, I've met some interesting folk who I guarantee have different definitions of what excessive and cruel and unusual punishment is. So I started looking into it, and this is what I found. Specifically on the excessive stuff, there isn't a real definition. People have tried to define it or to limit it or to give it boundaries, this and that, but it can't really be defined because times change. And the founding fathers knew this. So the founding fathers knew that our definitions, our cultural definitions of what is cruel and unusual, what is excessive, all of that is made through emotions that we then temper by thought. And those definitions, those associations, they can't fit all circumstances. And those punishments have to be redefined almost every time, case by case, depending on the person and the people in that community for that crime as we move through time, right? This is also which kind of highlights, or this is also a thing that kind of highlights that our legal system works on the concept of precedent. An issue is presented. It follows the due process of the law. People discuss it. Lawyers on both sides argue about it, and the people decide what the outcome is. Then, based off of that outcome, the result, that kind of sets the precedent for the next case. And so we're kind of constantly figuring out these issues and defining what excess and cruel and unusual punishment is every time there is a court case. And the system kind of redefines itself and updates itself all the time to stay current. I don't know if that's exactly what they had in mind, but that's kind of how it's working, and it's kind of cool. Maybe they weren't as dumb as some people say. Now, this can become a very deep, dark hole about, precedent and legal system and how it works. And lawyers, judges go to school forever, or people go to school to become lawyers, and then they are practicing lawyers, and then they become judges, and blah blah blah, so on and such forth. Anyway, the point is, it takes a really long time to get to know all of the details and the minutiae of how the system works, and please feel free to investigate that on your own. But for the purposes of this channel, that's all way too much and way too deep, dark a rabbit hole to go down. So for now, I'm just going to stick with we the people. As we deal with these issues, we trend those definitions of excess, cruel and unusual punishment, and so on and such forth. And we the people decide what they are and how they should change as we go through time. What was okay then isn't necessarily okay now, and so on and such forth. That's it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.